here we are at another episode of Toxic Masculinity with none other than my cohort here, Don the Predator Frye.
Hey, baby. How are you today, Mr. Severn?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Mr. Beast.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm still above ground, so we're doing good.
Yeah. I think I got a beast infection here. We're lucky we got the great Rob Schneider, good friend of mine.
God bless you. Good to see you, Don.
And we got another good friend, Rich Marino. Rich, one of my sparring partners from the day one. Actually, before day one, we knew each other doing judo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Don, what you're trying to say, you actually have a sparring partner that you're not married to. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's not because he didn't propose.
Yes.
I did.
Well, that's a pretty good nose you still got for being a sparring partner with the great Don Frye.
Yeah, that's what you get from running.
All right, well, that'll work.
Run.
He covered up real good.
There you go.
Fetal position.
So was it mostly wrestling, sparring, or was it?
We did everything.
Everything.
Judo, boxing, kickboxing.
In the microphone.
It all went from that mixed martial arts genre to what is now, from no holds barred to the mixed martial arts genre. So
Yeah, I mean, you were in early, maybe too early.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a quite. I mean, the Tokyo Dome. Well, what are some of the memories that, like, the ones that stick out to you? That first time must have been intimidating.
No. First time was easy. It was down there in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. So it kind of built up from there to the Tokyo Dome?
Yeah. But I had fought, Dan got me a few fights before that.
Okay.
I'd seen him on TV in number 4 and number 5.
Yeah.
And I was my first ex-wife.
Yeah.
Mary was taking a shit. And so I started doing judo just to, get rid of some frustrations.
And so you were in the fight biz too, obviously, right?
Well, just a little bit before Don was. Yeah, from UFC number 4 was my very first one. So single digits to where, when you look at how many they've gone over the number of decades now, it's incredible from what it went from the no holds barred era of only having 2 rules, no weight classes, to now mixed martial arts, and it's known throughout the world.
So how were the deals back then? Like when somebody would approach you,
they were bad.
But when you get like this, how did you have to go up to somebody?
Rob, these are contracts that you really might be interested in. It's like, Dad, you're guaranteed $1,000. $1,000, and let's see. The only 2 things you can't do to another human being is bite them or stick a finger in their eye socket. No eye gouge you. But even then, it wasn't grounds for disqualification.
It was a warning.
It's just like going, hey, get that finger out of his eye. That's all.
Spit that ear out right now. Spit his ear back on.
And 4 buffet tickets
Yeah.
to use at your own discretion.
And so these were obviously like the most legitimate promoters originally.
Well, it's still there has been 4 different ownerships of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The originator, Art Davie.
Yeah,
he's still alive today, and he was the originator of it, and he had a partnership with Horian Gracie. So the 2 of them together formed the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Yeah,
but business wise, it was all Art Davie's idea.
Yeah, and so it was. I remember like the cool thing about it was like how illegal it was. There were cities that banned it.
Oh,
yeah,
New York City was like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
We're getting heckled by a dog over here.
Yeah.
What the hell is this shit?
That's Don's,
Entourage.
That's Don. Yeah. This is
We were just talking about that evening that they canceled the fight in New York.
I remember
in
that.
New York, and I was telling Dan that's when I first realized that the money wasn't about the gate, the ticket sales at the gate. When they contracted a 747 and opened the Buffalo airport in the middle of the night to fly everybody, the crew, the fighters, teams, everybody to Dothan, Alabama. I'm like, this is big money.
Yeah, and even in down in Dothan, Alabama, they don't think they charge a single person. They simply just open up the doors like free admittance. Come on in and watch men knock the crap out of each other.
Yeah, well, that's I remember. Like some of the first places where it was legal was where.
Well,
Dothan, Alabama.
Alabama, obviously.
I say no. The original all took place up in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it got slowly got closed down, and it was the joke. It says like, all right, after the fight, you get two options. You either go to the hospital or you go to the after party. but then at the end, it was also, or you go to jail.
Yeah.
There were some times when it was being threatened that you may walk out of that cage and you may be handcuffed because they're trying to shut down more and more on the whole industry. I mean, it went again going from that no holds barred to the mixed martial arts. What was it? Jeff Blatnick was the gentleman's name that throughout. I don't think it came about till around that 2004, 5, or 6 that it actually became known as mixed martial arts.
Okay.
They were trying to bring forth all the martial arts attributes that you actually have to have a background in. It could be boxing, kickboxing, karate, Muay Thai, karate, kung fu. And you also needed some type of an arsenal in the grappling arts. So judo, jiu-jitsu.
Well, I remember that was the potential, because it was impossible to beat the guys who were, in jiu-jitsu. I mean, especially the Brazilians who had the wonderful quality of the physical ability and also to be experts in jiu-jitsu. And it almost threatened that they were so successful that if they didn't get knocked out, for sure they were going to win because they just had to get into position. So everybody had to learn a certain level of grappling and jiu-jitsu. So that's when the wrestling guys kind of came in who were able to defend themselves enough to knock the shit out of the guys, right?
Well, that's probably a most on point analogy.
Dan came in and ruined it.
I was the first world class wrestler to step inside the octagon
That's
cage.
right, yeah.
And then it's kind of disrupted things to where
it
things
did
had to
because
be
no one
changed.
could beat the Brazilian. The Gracie was like, that was it. It was he was like, okay, he's not gonna, if you can't knock him out quick and he can get on his feet and still beat you. I mean, he's on his back beating you with his feet and just pretty soon. So I think that did threaten the business to whereas, because Americans need to have an American champion. They need to have a guy. They need to have a chance. It can't just be, from some guy from Santiago, Brazil. We have Santiago. It's got to be somebody who's and so that's what changed.
Somebody with a big mustache.
Yeah, somebody who
white guy, white privilege.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that right now.
We needed it. No, they needed an American champion for sure. To make it interesting, right?
I think that as a sport that was developed in the United States, they're looking for someone from the United States there to represent it as well.
But also, I mean, what I think you need, like in any form of, where you have a boxing or mixed martial arts, as they now call it, or ultimate fighting, you have to have several people at the best time of their career who can challenge each other. I mean, if boxing had its heyday, in the late 70s because you had Hagler, Sugar Ray, and Hearns.
Thomas Hearns, yeah.
And then Duran probably at the end of his peak, but he was still there. So you had some guys, you had some bitchin' fights, even at the end. I mean, probably the best fight was at the end of their careers with Sugar Ray and Hearns and that supposed draw that they had. But they were beat the shit out of each other. There's nothing like that. So that was the kind of thing. So the turnaround for this thing to go global. Did you see it going global?
Well, if it could survive the politicians, that's really what it boiled down to.
No, we really thought we were going to go to jail.
There were times when I first saw this product, it was on an old VHS tape. That's what a buddy watched the first two.
Yeah.
He copied it and he basically showed it to me. And what I was more intrigued with was the fact that I had a couple other buddies that happened to stop by, and I threw it on. And I was watching my buddies more than I was watching the product. I'm thinking, look at these guys. They're on the edge of the couch. They're they're beating on the coffee table. They're just getting. I just can't believe how wrapped up they got into this. I'm thinking, there's something here. But then I think when you look at sports, I mean, football is big because it's big. It's big men that's colliding into each other. So anytime that you could kind of put something. Call it legalized violence. Yeah. There's an attraction towards it. Boxing is a great attraction because you're posing your will upon an opponent in a very bludgeoning type of way.
And there's a winner and there's a loser, and you don't have to wait to find out. So much in life is gray area. But when two guys get in the ring to beat the shit out of each other, it can be an impressive fight.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and truthfully, in boxing, you haven't really had, I think a lot of the great American boxers, we lost. Those great African-American boxers, we lost to other sports, to football. If you had a chance to play football or basketball or getting the crap beat out of you, you're going to, and having with fists, you're going to play basketball. You're going to go
easy way, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, just thinking about like on the beating of the body. So if you had a chance to play basketball, you'd do it. That's why it's a shame for me as a fan of baseball is that we lost those great American ball players, baseball players that we don't have. You have the guys they've got the if you go to the Dominican Republic, they've got like these it's like a farm system there, literally.
Yes.
You get 12, 13. By the time they're 16, they're signed by the Yankees. And that's so you have like a huge amount of, I don't know if the exact numbers, but maybe 1/3 of baseball is these terrifically talented players. But like I missed so you got the Burt Campaneris and these guys, but I missed the Hank Aaron's, the Willie Mays, the guys from Mobile, Alabama, who just come up and just smack the crap out of the ball, and there was had a beautiful swing and just a wonderful ball player, Ken Griffey Jr.
Home runs. People want to see home runs.
They want to see grace, and the same thing. Like so in the fight game, seeing it. Finally, I think it took me a while to understand the grappling of it because it was really tough for me to sit and watch and not understand like the intricacies of what's happening on the ground. And if it's 2 minutes on the ground, you go like, okay, what else do we got? So I think that it's been a tough, slow process to educate people that it's interesting on the ground too. And truthfully, what upped the game was, seeing, Rousey, a female, actually take the sport up to another level. And she was just, arm bars.
Yes.
But that was exciting how quick she could do it and her flexibility. She obviously, ran out of somebody got her number. But she couldn't get an arm bar pretty quickly. She was vulnerable. Yeah. But that was so for a woman to take the sport up to the next level, I really think she is the one to get. Would you say that she was the credit?
No. Again, she did a fantastic job coming on the scene and just representing the female aspect of the mixed martial arts world.
Yeah.
And to finish all of our matches with that arm bar, and just like you said, so quickly in the process.
So going back to like when how did it get from like you're a fireman? How the hell did it happen to where you're at the Tokyo Dome? I still don't understand that. I've known you for 15 years. I still don't understand that transition.
I don't either, Burner.
We had been doing judo for a while,
Yeah.
and actually Don saw Dan, or I don't know if you were in touch with him, but
No,
I remember the next time I talked to Don, which was a day or two after that fight, he's like, I gotta do this. He's like, I called Dan and he's working on it, and then we just started, instead of going to like the boxing gym one day and wrestling one day and doing judo, we just started like incorporating it more. But like what you were saying about the learning curve, I can remember watching early UFCs and the guy on the bottoms appears to be getting beat. The guy on the top appears to be winning. And then all of a sudden the ref pulls him apart and the guy in the bottom won, and everyone's like, what happened there? What happened there?
Yeah.
And my friends in the room are saying, what transpired? What happened? I'm like, well, the guy on the bottom got him in Sangaku, which the rest of the world calls a triangle. So he was choking him and da-da-da-da-da. So we had been mixing, and as well as Dan mixing this up.
Well, Don had the look and had the ability to have a good ground game, but also, just be like a man's man. And just seeing you in those Speedos, and making America proud over there, holding your own.
Part of America.
Yeah. It brought up the viewership.
But yeah, wouldn't you agree that like a lot of the people, in our world anyways, already had a nice mixture of stuff, and whether the rest of the world knew that they knew what a certain armbar was, or a certain, it was already it was known to us already.
That grappling background actually, it was a great foundation to work from. If you were a world-class wrestler, you were already used to being
in front of the crowd.
You're used to be not only just being in front of that crowd, but also the referees. A lot of countries did not like Americans.
Yeah.
Again, the propaganda that's being spewed at the time. I mean, we just a lot of countries did not like Americans for whatever reason, and so when you'd walk out on a mat, you did not only did you have to beat your opponent.
Yeah.
There'd always be 3 referees. You had to beat 2 out of 3 of the referees as well.
Yeah, you had to win
because you always if you.
decisively.
Well, the center referee, the guy out on the mat, he'll be calling like, okay, there was a takedown. He'll be saying that there was a point, and then he's looking to one of the side referees because one of the other judges would always have to agree with them.
Confirm.
And half the time when he's looking over at one referee, the other referee would be like, all of a sudden, oh, tie his shoe, or he'd be looking off this way, and just never see it, so they wouldn't get the confirmation. So literally, when I say that you had to beat 2 out of 3 of the referees on top of your opponent, you had to do it.